more and more academic events are being moved onto virtual platforms, such as conferences, symposia, meetings, and sometimes even assessments and examinations. Presenting online is a different experience to presenting in person, and it requires slightly different skills. The fundamental principles of good presentations still apply. You will still need your content to be well structured, covering all the necessary points, pitched to the level of the audience, and scoped to fit your time limit. As in any presentation, you'll still need to pay attention to your delivery, with clear enunciation, eye contact, an appropriate pace, and a well-modulated voice. And if you're using visual aids, these should be clear and well-designed, not too busy, visually interesting, and with legible fonts. But there are extra things you'll need to be aware of when presenting online. You'll need to operate a video conferencing tool. You'll need a quiet space from which to present. You'll need to ensure that your audience sees both you and your visual aids. You may need to modify your voice and your movements. And you may need to manage different ways of interacting with your audience. First, know your tech tools. Every video conferencing tool is a little bit different. Even if you're familiar with, for instance, Skype, you may have a different experience using Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Decide which video conferencing tool you will use, or if it's outside of your control, find out which one you're required to use. Get to know its features and play around to customize it to your liking. While you're getting to know your video conferencing tool, consider whether you'd like to add some other gear, such as headphones or an external microphone. These can make for a smoother presenting experience. Next, find a suitable space from which to physically give your presentation. Look for a quiet space with a neutral backdrop, a low chance of interruptions, a reliable internet connection, and a power outlet for keeping your device charged. Remember that you will need to make noise while presenting, so ensure that you can do that without disturbing others. When you give an online presentation, you'll typically be visible on camera. But if you're using visual aids, you may need to choose whether you and or your visuals are visible at any given time. It can be tempting to hide behind PowerPoint slides, but it's best not to do that for the whole duration of your talk. Humans are drawn to human faces, so your audience will be more engaged if they can see your face and read your facial expressions for at least part of the time. Experiment with your chosen tech tool and try features like picture-in-picture or side-by-side mode to allow both your face and your visual aids to be seen at the same time. Even if you choose not to use those, you can toggle between your camera and your visual aids to ensure that both you and your visuals are visible. When it comes to your voice and movements, the skills you have developed from presenting in person may need to be tweaked a little bit for presenting online. If you're used to presenting from a podium, you may need to downscale your volume and movements. With the camera and microphone placed close to your face, you don't need to project your voice as you would for a large room. You can adjust your voice on the day by checking in with your audience. If the video or audio is imperfect, you may need to speak more slowly or repeat yourself at times. Remember also that hand gestures will probably be out of frame. Try expressing yourself with your face rather than your hands or body movements. One aspect of online presenting that is very different to in-person presenting is eye contact. Eye contact is important to show confidence and build rapport with your audience. But whereas in person you would look into your audience's eyes, when presenting virtually you'll need to look into the camera. From the audience's perspective, looking into their eyes on screen is not eye contact. Looking into the camera does appear as eye contact. Another thing to consider is that video conferencing tools offer a diverse range of options for interacting with your audience. Audience members may want to interact or ask questions, particularly if you are giving a presentation at an online conference where Q&A time is built into the session schedule. You may be given some guidance on how you manage interactions, or you may have to decide this for yourself. Depending on which video conferencing tool you use, it could have a range of features for interaction, such as a chat box, a virtual hand raise for questions, a whiteboard, survey and polling tools, and so on. If you plan to use those features, practice in advance. It can require a bit of multitasking to manage multiple forms of interaction, especially if you're still presenting at the same time. Finally, don't forget to practice your whole presentation before the big event. A test run can reveal issues that you hadn't anticipated. Recruit some friends or family as a test audience, and ensure that you're able to present online smoothly using your chosen technology.